Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Myres, and today's art project is a winter scene, and we're going to have a lake in the background with some snow on the ground and a birdhouse and a little bird. So here are the materials we're going to need. We're going to need scissors and a pencil and eraser and some crayons and a glue stick, brushes and your watercolor tray, and a container of water. Okay, here are the materials, and while I change the screen, you go ahead and get your materials and I'll show you what mine look like right there. Okay, scissors, pencil, eraser, crayons, watercolor tray, some brushes, water, and your two 9x12 pieces of paper. We'll start with the blue one first. Go ahead and get your materials. Okay. Please remember you can pause whenever you need to. Okay, we're going to start out with our blue paper, and we're going to put it in a vertical direction. And we'll start out by making some little ripples. This is going to be our lake background, and we're going to pretend that there's a little breeze out there on the lake. So that breeze is causing some ripples, and ripples are just little waves, tiny waves, all along the page. So I'm going to start with my blue and start to make these little ripples, just little ones, all along the page. Feel free to lighten that if you want to by adding more water to your brush. When you feel you have enough of that effect, you can stop. Okay, I think this is good for me. Okay, now we're going to put this aside and just let it dry while we do the next part. So now you want your white piece of paper, and again in a vertical direction. We're going to fold it in half. Okay, and then cut on that fold. All right, take 1/2 of that page and turn it horizontally. We're going to take your pencil. I'm going to use a Sharpie on mine so that you can see my design a little bit better. We're going to start out on one bottom corner, the very edge, and start to make sort of a wavy hill, little hill, and stop around about 1 inch on the other side. Okay, and then we're going to start at that corner, wherever you ended, and make another wavy hill, and on the other side. Okay, now cut on your lines. And you're going to save these two pieces. This is going to be the ground snow. Okay. You might think that the middle piece is the one you're going to use, but it's actually not. It's the other piece, the top part. So you're saving the bottom and the top. We don't really need this one. You can put it to the side. Okay, now we've got this piece and this piece. We'll save those. All right. Now with your other half of the page, we're going to do another design. This is going to be the little birdhouse. So you want to make like you're going to fold it in half, but we're not actually going to do a half. The top part is going to be a little larger than the bottom. So come up about 3/4 of the way, and that's leaving about an inch at the top. So you're not going to go all the way to the top to fold. You're going to come down about an inch. That's about 3 finger spaces. And then make your fold. Okay? So it looks like this. All right, cut on that fold. And save the smaller piece of paper for later. We're going to use the larger one. Okay, we have almost a square here, so you're going to go to the top 2 corners and we're going to fold down just a little bit. This is going to be the shape of the roof of the birdhouse. So I'm not having these 2 corners meet. I'm leaving them a little bit open, so they're not meeting like this. They're going to be a little bit open, and then fold down. Okay, cut on your folds. All right, so we don't need those little 2 triangles. All right, now you have a little house shape. So what we're going to do is we want the roof to stick out a little bit beyond the shape of the house. So we're going to come in about a finger space where the roof starts to curve up. You're going to come in 1 finger space. So I'm putting a little dot right here at the edge of my finger. You're going to do the same on the other side. Put a finger space, put a dot. Okay? All right. Then you're going to go to the bottom of one side and cut up to that dot. And then go to the edge of the roof part, cut it off. Okay, so you have a little indentation there. Okay, same on the other side. Cut up to your dot. And then cut that piece right off so you have a little indentation. Okay, okay, we don't need those little 2 pieces. All right, this is our little birdhouse. Okay, now we're ready to design it. Take your brown crayon. This is a wooden house, so we're going to make it that wood color. Okay, so start by putting a line about a 1/4 inch along the rooftop. Just follow that rooftop down to the other side where your indentation was. And we're going to just color that in. Other side as well. Okay, and take your black crayon, and about in the center of that square, of that little house, you're going to make a circle about the size of a 1/4, maybe just a teeny bit larger. After you draw your circle, go ahead and fill it in with your black crayon. That's the little hole that the bird can go into for his birdhouse. Okay, and now we're going to go back to the brown crayon, and you're going to make lines that look sort of like little planks of wood. So starting at the top, and about 1 finger space in width, continue on down. Jump over your black circle when you get to it. Jump over. And you don't have to measure each time. You can just use your good judgment to decide the width of each one, okay? Make sure that you're pressed hard on this. If your lines are very light, go back and press very hard on the lines. Mine are a little bit light, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to press very hard on these lines. Okay, once you've done that, you get to choose which watercolor you want for the birdhouse. I'm going to choose red. So I'm going to get my paint ready, and then you're going to watercolor right on top of that. Okay, leave the roof as it is. And again, you can choose any color you want. I want mine to be red. Watercolor that all the way down. And it's fine to go on top of that black circle because you know that watercolor resists on crayon, since crayon has got a lot of wax in it. You see how your lines, your brown lines are popping up now that you've pressed hard on them. Okay. So, almost done with this one. Almost. And when you're painting this, go the same direction, side to side, so the lines all form the same way. There we go. Okay. Put this someplace, like on a piece of newsprint or a paper towel. Put it over on the side to dry. And I'm going to wipe my, I should have said, please get a paper towel as well. Okay. Now we're ready for the next part. So you have that other piece of paper that you cut, the bottom part that was smaller than the top. So you're going to take this one now. We're going to make the shape of a little bird. But before we do that, you're going to make a line about 1 or 2 finger spaces wide. I'm going to use my marker so you can see my Sharpie. Can you see that all the way down? Okay, that's going to be the pole. Okay, let me make it with a darker one. Let's see if you can see this better. There we go. Okay. All right, and you're going to cut that off. That's going to be the wooden pole that holds the little birdhouse up. So save that piece. Okay. Now you've got this little piece, and this piece is for making the little bird. So you want to shape it, starting sort of in the middle and to the right. Leave a little space for his beak, so we don't want to go so close to the edge. Leave a little space. So you're going to come up like a little hill. Here's his head. Here comes his back. We're going to dip down a little bit. We're going to go almost to the edge, coming up. Like it's kind of like a little sailboat, it looks like, or a big smile. Come up. And as you come here, make that rounded head, finish it off. Then you're going to make a little beak starting from the middle, right, a little beak that comes up and then down like this, okay? And if you feel that this is too narrow, that your bird needs to be a little wider, then come about to the left a little bit, about 2 finger spaces down from the tip. You want to come down, and that could be his wing, and you could come up and do that. If you feel that this is a good size, then just give him a wing right here, okay? All right, give him his little eye. And then he's ready to watercolor. Okay, you can put some, maybe you want two colors on your bird. So if you want to, you can use a crayon for resist. I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a blue to make my lines. And then I think I want to give him a couple of little feathers here. Like that. And then you decide what color you want your bird to be. That's going to be watercolored. So mine is going to be purple, I think. Okay. And again, choose a color that's different from the color of your birdhouse. But again, choose whatever. Actually, I went to magenta. Okay, choose any color you want to watercolor in your bird. Okay, and you can also use an orange for the beak maybe, or yellow. Okay, and the eye was black. All right, and wait for that one to dry. Meantime, take that long pole that's going to hold up the birdhouse, and again we're going to use our brown since that's made of wood. Color this in. Okay, after you've colored it in, if you want it to be a little bit darker, you can press harder, or I should say, you can go on top of it with a brown watercolor. Okay, and let that dry. I used a scrap piece of paper there. All right, once your pieces are all dry, you're ready to assemble this picture. So we want to come back to our blue paper, and we're going to go back and get our two pieces of the hill, or little background snow on the ground. So you want to go to the part that has an edge to it, a straight edge, and match that straight edge to one side of your page, like this at the bottom. Then glue that on. Again, if your pieces aren't dry yet, you can wait as long as you need to do this part. Mine are dry, so I'm going to go ahead and attach the snow part bottom to okay. Now take your other smaller snow piece and turn it so that the side that's flat comes to the opposite side, so it looks like it's two little hills. Okay, glue that on. Okay. When your other pieces are dry, you can glue them on. Mine's almost dry. So I'm going to wedge that pole that we colored brown. I'm going to wedge it between one of the snow pieces and the other one. See how I'm just tucking it in a little bit in that snow piece? I'm going to glue that on. Okay. And then I've got my little birdhouse. Gluing that on. see mine's still a little bit damp, so I'm going to hold off a little bit because I really want it to be super dry. So I'm going to resume this as soon as my pieces are dry. But you can tell what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to cut out that little bird once that's dry. Mine's almost dry, so I'm going to attempt to cut it now. Cut on your line, just take your time. Okay, and then he's going to get glued up to the top of the birdhouse like that. Okay, and then if you want to, if you have white in your tray of watercolors, you can go ahead and use it to make it a snowy scene. I'm going to do that now. And if you don't have white in your watercolors, you can definitely use a white crayon to do the same. So just little tiny, tiny, tiny little dots of snow coming down. Little tiny dots. If you're doing this with a crayon, just make little tiny, press hard, but make little tiny dots of snow. Or if you have white paint, that works, of course. All the way down. And while you're waiting for your picture to dry, so you can cut it and assemble it, I'll tell you a little poem about February birds. Goes like this. I gave 100 valentines. 100, did I say? I gave 1,000 valentines one cold and wintry day. I didn't put my name on them or any other words because my valentines were seeds for February birds. If you have a chance today, maybe you want to go outside and get a handful of seeds and feed those February birds. I hope you like your picture. See you again next time. Bye.